This is my audience. So, the topic that I chose for this speech was Cleopatra. Cleopatra is someone that I've always found very mysterious and interesting, just an interesting figure in history. There's not a lot that we know about her, which I think just makes her very intriguing. So, throughout the speech, I'm going to discuss her early life, how she came into power, and her death. So, to start, Cleopatra was born in Alexandria, believed to be somewhere between 70 and 69 BCE. She was a daughter of the Egyptian pharaoh Papali VII, and she's believed to have spoken a multitude of languages and was a very influential figure in all of her co-regencies. She first began gaining political power after her father's death in 51 BCE. After her father died, his will stated that he wanted his son, Polygamy the Eighth, to rule, and for Cleopatra to co-rule alongside of him. And it's highly likely that at just 18 years old, Cleopatra married her 11-year-old brother, and the two co-ruled alongside each other. However, because Polygamy was so young, because he was 11 years old, he had advisors, and these advisors did not like Cleopatra. They did not like the fact that she was gaining and had influential power. And so in 69 BCE, they are going to exile her and she's going to flee to Syria. And during this time period, while Cleopatra is in exile, Polygamy the Eighth, most likely his advisors, are going to kill a man named Papali. And Papali is a Roman general and also known as like a political rival to Julius Caesar. And they killed him in order to try to gain more like power and try to hold it over Julius Caesar's head. So they're going to invite Julius Caesar over to Alexandria to try to show him that they are on Julius Caesar's side and try to get his political power and influence. However, this is going to deeply offend and upset Julius Caesar because he did not believe that Papali deserved to die. And during this visit, while he's in Alexandria, he's going to meet Cleopatra. Cleopatra sort of is going to supposedly sneak into this palace somehow and is going to meet with Julius Caesar. And she's going to try to appeal to him to join her side and politically back her. And after this meeting that they have, Julius Caesar is going to politically back Cleopatra. And just after 4 months of war, Julius Caesar's army is going to beat Polygamy the Eighth's army, and the two are going to stay in Egypt, and they're going to have a son together named Caesarion. Julius Caesar and Cleopatra are going to stay married for a couple of years until Caesar's death in 44 BCE. After Julius Caesar's death, she's going to go on to marry Mark Antony. And after they get married, they are going to have twins together. A couple years into their marriage, there's going to be turmoil between Rome and Egypt. And a Roman figure named Octavian, who was a Roman general at the time, is ultimately going to declare war on Egypt. And so in September of 30 BCE, the Battle of Actium is going to happen, and ultimately Octavian's forces are going to defeat Egyptians. And shortly after this defeat, Mark Antony is believed to have committed suicide. And upon hearing this, that her lover had committed suicide, Cleopatra is also as well, in August of 30 BCE, ultimately marking the end of the Egyptian dynasty after it fell to Roman Empire. Overall, I find Cleopatra a very interesting and intriguing sort of character in history. A lot of people have heard of Cleopatra, but they don't know her story. And I think that if people have heard her story, they would change the narrative that they have on her. One sort of cool fact that I've always found interesting, that it's believed to be that Shakespeare wrote the novel Romeo and Juliet based off them to sort of show their dynamic and how, love can be passionate but also destructive at the same time. And I always found it very cool that even though she was a woman at the time, she was sort of able to beat all odds and become ruler in a very male-dominated society. She was known to be a very intelligent woman and could speak a multitude of languages, and was known to be very prosperous during her rule. And that is my end of my speech. This was my audience.